Welcome, dear viewer. I am your host, Lenore, and I am the revolutionary Goth. This is the first video I've done in quite some time, and with that, I thought, with my new setup and studio, if you will, with everything set up, and regularly scheduled uploads being planned, I thought to myself, what should I do upon return? And I thought, what better way to come back to this and really start my content creation journey than by looking at some TikToks? Now, you're probably saying, Lenore, are you going to turn into a generic bland reaction channel? And to that I say, no, this serves a much higher purpose. The youth are being infected by no other than 4chan. Now, if you don't know what I'm referring to, there's essentially this online trend known as Looksmaxxing, and as far as I can tell in my limited research, this trend originates from 4chan, and its ideas are heavily rooted in Nazi race science. Hence the title of this video and why this is so concerning and problematic, and for those not familiar, you will see why shortly. And I just want to start this video off by saying that there's absolutely nothing wrong, and there will never be anything wrong with wanting to look your best, feeling your best, and embracing confidence. Self-care and beauty are important aspects of our livelihoods and societal norms. So, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So this strapping lad is going to inform all of us, viewers and me, as to what Looksmaxxing is and what it entails and how we ought to get started. So pay attention, dear viewer.
You want to start looksmaxing, but you don't know where to start. These are the first 3 things you should focus on. Number 3, make sure you are mewing and nose breathing 24/7. This is what actually shapes your face to be strong. If you're mouth breathing, your jaw's going to be recessed, your maxilla won't grow forward, and how are you going to look attractive?
Alright, so I know what I learned from this first tip. I need to be mewing at all times. Keep that strong jawline and no mouth breathing. Putting aside, whatever dry, sarcastic jokes I intend on making, what is the point of this? Now, I do understand that many people will want to do something similar to mewing, as I do, before photos or in certain contexts to make sure that your mouth is in the right position. But as far as I can tell, there's no bit of academic literature that suggests, or any serious medical professional that would suggest that mewing is going to drastically alter your bone structure or any of your makeup. And the reality is that most of the time these before and afters are shown it's before and after someone is actively mewing. Listen, I don't think you need a random goth woman on the internet to tell you that you're not going to change your genetics or bone composition via placing your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Also, before I continue with this video, I do want to point out that we're already getting into some borderline racist territory. For those of you who don't know, many Latina and indigenous communities have a very big problem with underbites and underdeveloped jaws. This is not because they're not mewing enough. This is due to a myriad of factors that I don't have time to fully get into at the moment, but in short, it's colonialism and forced dietary changes. But with that being said, let's continue on to the next point.
Number 2 is going to be exercise. You need to start doing compound movements that boost your testosterone.
So the next point, or point number 2, is one that is obviously not harmful, and that goes back to what I said in the intro, that there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself or wanting to be the best version of yourself. And hey, I know straight men love for other straight men to look at their half-naked bodies. And hey, If that's your thing, go for it. If it makes you physically fit and feel better, go for it. So again, there's not really much to say regarding this point. It's the next point.
One, obviously it's gonna be your diet. You're gonna be ugly as shit if you eat bullshit. So what you should be eating is red meat, eggs, some fruits, but mainly just red meat and eggs. That's all you really need for real. What it's gonna do is provide you with the right nutrients to fuel your body to be able to grow how you wanna grow, and so you don't be a fucking fat ass.
As someone who, as of recently, gotten very into health and researching, tons of subjects regarding dietary needs, health, and such, this point just made me laugh audibly the first time hearing it. I always love that these, sort of right-wing grifters and weirdos online always seem to emphasize red meat and just meat in general. They seem to base their life and dietary needs upon the ripping of flesh off of other animals and presenting that as a cool thing to do. And listen, I'm not saying that or wording it in that way to suggest that meat consumption is intrinsically evil. What I am saying is that the presentation of such is often to invoke this ideal masculinity. Look at me, big strong man. I eat only animals and eggs. For one, if you eat a diet exclusively of red meat and eggs, I don't want to get into the specifics of what that's going to do to your body, but you're also likely going to be at a very high risk for a myriad of heart diseases. So hey, if you want to shit bricks and die of heart attack, you do you. And listen, I may be biased because at this point I am functionally vegan, but I'm sure the majority of my meat eaters in the audience will be able to reaffirm that this is a stupid fucking diet. Anyway, on to the next video. So yeah, if you can't see the glaringly obvious issues with this clip, then you might as well click off this video and maybe stop doom scrolling TikTok. Now for the rest of you capable of abstract thought, let's assess this for a moment. So here we have this man who looks like a million other men on this planet, telling this random poor woman on his show that she is a 4.5 and it is because of these features. And the presentation of the video is done in such a way that it portrays this aura or guise of scientific knowledge. It is presented as objective. Attraction is not viewed as biological, sociological. Rather, it is viewed as an exact science based upon your bone structure, genealogy, race, and much more. And even if these people don't want to say the quiet part out loud, they are showing all white women with mostly the same features and characteristics. And before you say, oh, but he's showing Adriana Lima, I don't care. You are missing the point. The point is that attraction, looks, and desirability are being reduced to a science based upon undeterminate qualities. If you at this point are not seeing skull measuring and tying it in your brain to Nazi-esque race science, I don't know what to tell you. This has its origins in white supremacy and within the conceptualization of race itself. And I also just feel so bad for that girl, because to have yourself plastered on the internet on this show and most of the world only knowing who you are because you were assessed by some random man as being a 4.5 and ridiculed. And in reality, anyone who has to go to these lengths to put another woman down or build their career this way is a pathetic, lifeless, worthless piece of shit. Well, we finally did it. Lenore has been debunked. This next video has peer-reviewed scientific backing. Let's see it. Oh wait, never mind. It's someone pulling shit out of their ass yet again. This one is so funny because literally all of these things are just because this person has clearly matured and is in a late stage of puberty if they're not already done with puberty. Like, you cannot call it looksmaxing or attribute it to these scientific based concepts when all of these things, the stronger jawline, the height, all of these things, less femininity, are because of maturity and puberty. So for those of you who don't know, human beings go through a process called puberty. I encourage you, I implore you even, to research this for yourself. It is quite incredible. You could almost call it looksmaxing. Anyway, on to the next video. So, if anyone is familiar with some of the online backlash or, posts making fun of some of these looksmaxers, this literally looks like those edited alien-like images. If I can find one, I will put one on screen. I'm sure you will all appreciate it. But this is just genuinely hilarious. And it's why he looks like he's going to shit himself. How locked in and dedicated to looksmaxing do you have to be to make a literal constipated face? You don't know how many attempts it took to record this section because I have just been dying, so I apologize for that, dear viewer. Scrolling through these, there were many more just edits doing literal skull measuring, so I decided to skip past some of those. But I found a very interesting person who is going to give us his spiel on what looksmaxing is.
Looksmaxing is basically like the most intensive version of self-improvement. Like it's really like doing a lot of shit to improve your looks, whether that be steroids, whether that be peptides, plastic surgery, this, that, and the other.
Okay, that makes sense. Just, the best version of yourself, including plastic surgery and such. I wonder if these drastic body-altering, face-altering, mind-altering means of looksmaxing are something that should be employed on children. I wonder then if you should employ them on your 17-year-old girlfriend.
What do you guys think? That's one side done with the Aqualux. Alright, you guys admiring or what?
Yeah, so for those of you who hadn't seen this clip, I apologize. This man is a pedophile and is just a nasty human being. I won't say what he deserves, as to not risk getting my channel struck on basically my first proper video ever. But what I will say is the fact that this is allowed is utterly disgusting. This is the final video we're going to speak on because it is the culmination of all of the problematic elements of, well, the internet in general at this current time, but more specifically looksmaxing. Again, harkening back to what I said at the beginning of the video, this has its origins in Nazi ideology. And taken to its logical extent, it is going to culminate in the drastic altering of people's minds and bodies. This can be done via extermination, i.e. exterminating those who do not fit this image, or mind and bodily altering surgeries and means. If you are so dedicated to this warped perception of reality and beauty that you have to take your underage girlfriend and inject her with lip filler, you are insane. You are literally destroying this girl. And to not even disinfect the injection site, to touch it with your dirty ass hand, that's the least of the concerns, but it's still a concern. Anyways, I apologize if this video was a little ranty. For my first video returning, I wanted something that, didn't require a ton of research, but would still be entertaining and still provide some use value. And if there's anything you should take away from this, it's this. Take care of yourself, but don't be deluded into these notions of looksmaxxing, and by extension, race science. You are beautiful how you were born, as stereotypical as it sounds, no matter what race you are, what jaw you have, or any other features that are intrinsic to you. These things cannot change, and it is only because of the capitalistic hellscape we live under that you are conditioned to see them as any other way other than beautiful. And I don't say this to say that I am a perfect person, or that I view everyone equally beautiful, but it is a fact of reality that we cannot change these things about ourselves, and we often are most beautiful as ourselves. So, do not be led astray by TikTok or 4chan. I bid thee a farewell, and thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this video, I will be making a lot more like this in the future. I plan to make long-form video essays that are very well researched, and much more to come. Drop a like and subscribe. Check out my other socials if you wish. I am also going to be starting a gaming channel soon, and I have a music channel linked down below. But with all of that out of the way, goodbye everyone.